Our CST analyst, Deuce McAllister, appreciate you taking the time once again. Talk about this game. We're not used to seeing these Saints trailing at halftime, but boy, they bounced back in a big way tonight.
Yeah, to think that they were down 14-10 at half, but you felt pretty good about it. The one thing that you knew going into it, it was not going to be your conventional game, and when I say that, I mean it was going to be a little bit tighter. But I think, the offense really came out and exploited the deep ball a little bit more in the second half than they did early on in the first half, and they kind of showed it in the score.
I always like breaking down the running game with you. What a world of difference it was in this game compared to the Seattle game last year. Let's talk about Pierre Thomas. Drew Brees just told us one of the best games he's ever seen Pierre play. I guess you would agree with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And he was determined. A lot of the runs, he broke tackles. It wasn't going to take one man to tackle him. And, even a couple of times he split and roll and get his one hand down to be able to pick up extra yards. I was probably a little disappointed in one time, and I'm going to get on him because he could have got to the outside on one run. He had broke a long run. He could have got to the outside, but he didn't trust his speed.
Man, you're tough.
Hey, that's what you got to be on him. It still was a 30-yard game, but I told him, you probably could have scored if you'd have got to the outside.
And another running back, Chris Ivory, converting those 3rd and 1s, something we didn't see a year ago either.
Yeah, one thing that they did, though, they took away the outside, and, they were those two tackles that Detroit had, your hat goes off to them, but they did a good job of stopping the inside run, but Chris was a tough run. He got the tough yards for us, and, that's what you pay him to do, and he was successful with it.
You know the drill in the playoffs. You survive and advance, and I think survive is a good word tonight, especially early on. Having a game like this is your first playoff game. San Francisco gets to rest. Can that be to the Saints' advantage a little bit to pull out something like this tonight?
I think so. One thing that you won't have any jitters. There won't be any first game jitters or playoff jitters. You have to go on the road. You deal with the elements. But other than that, you go and play ball. It's a good defense. They have a lot of guys that were named to the Pro Bowl, all pros, etc. But at the end of the day, you have to go out and score points, and whether it's 1 or 20, we'll take it.
Offensively, too, the receivers, I thought, bounced back in a big way tonight. Colston and Meacham had some issues, turnovers, some drops. We talk about Drew Brees all the time. It seems like he shows instant faith when a receiver makes a drop or a mistake goes right back to him, and that's big for their confidence.
Yeah, you talk about the long ball that Meacham probably dropped. He probably lost it in the lights, or he had his hands wrong, and then you talk about the fumble that Colston had. Well, the next drive, Drew comes right back to him, 2 or 3 plays later, and those guys showed up big, and it's big when the quarterback has confidence in you to come right back to you as a receiver, as well as the quarterback, as well as the coach to call that play, to get you the ball. So that's the most important thing. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and, you go on the road, you don't lose any confidence. You won't have as many fans. We'll be representing, Who Dat Nation will represent out in San Francisco, but I don't think their preparation will lack off any bit.
No doubt about it. Well, listen, once again, appreciate the time, and we'll see you in the next round, I guess.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, Deuce McAllister here in the Superdome. Big night for the Saints. They survive and advance. That's the story here. Back to you in the studio.